when stars are in light, the weeper, we would know.
Everyone, welcome to the Improving Sales Performance livecast. Both Trey and I were both dancing before coming live. It's kind of like, it's not disco, but
it's kind of emo, kind of, you know.
You know, speaking of disco, yesterday was the 42nd anniversary of the death of disco. True story. In
Chicago, demolition, disco demolition. The great Steve Dahl.
Absolutely. Shout out to Steve Dahl. Steve, if you're watching, you should like, share, and subscribe. Call us. Comment. He sometimes listens. He sometimes watches.
Oh, he's a big fan. Big fan.
So.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Improving Sales Performance livecast. We're excited that you're here. My guest today is not a new guest, someone that has been on this show before, and a good friend and colleague. He's a VP Senior Consultant at the Center for Sales Strategy, and is the perfect person to discuss the topic that we're going to discuss today, which is on pipeline management. I'm excited to dive in. The Impact Sales Leadership System, which has really been the focus of this series. And again, Shay can put up if you want to check out a course, if you want to take it for free, a couple of courses we have up for free, just go to css.buzz/impact, all in caps, and you can take a couple of them. One of the courses, though, is called Pipeline Management. I think that there's a big disconnect with sales leaders today on what is pipeline management. I think many people think it means what do you have pending, and we'll unpack that and get into that. That's not what this is. If you're new watching us today, please, if you're following us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. If you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, then don't like it, subscribe, or share. But if you do like what you see, please help us out and do that. Also, the comment box is, as far as I know, live or fairly live. So if someone wants to post a comment or ask a question, both Trey and I can see those. And if we're not going to get to that, maybe it'll prompt a discussion point. We're going to spend the next 20-25 minutes talking about pipeline management. So let's jump in. Hi,
Great.
Trey.
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be here. And to be honest, when I first watched the pipeline management training, I was a little confused because being from Texas, I was thinking it was going to be like Keystone Pipelines, you know, gas, natural. Apparently, it's about sales. So that was good for me to kind of catch up and really get a feel for that. But really good stuff. And it's honestly something that we're talking a lot about with our clients, because I think for us old guys, we always talked about, like you said, pending, right? And there is a difference between pipeline management and pending.
So let's start right there, because I think that is the biggest disconnect, the biggest misnomer. People say, you'll ask a client, how's your pipeline looking? And they'll say, well, we got a lot out there or we got a lot in pending.
Yep.
So describe for us, what is a sales pipeline and how is that different than pending, or is pending a subset?
Pending is a subset of pipeline management. Your pipeline does include what is pending, right? The difference, though, is pending is a snapshot. It's a moment of time where you are looking just at the very bottom of the funnel. It's what is been presented, what is still out there, what is the opportunity, but it only gives you a small subset of the overall pipeline. Pending doesn't give you visibility of where you are in the sales process for all of your salespeople and all of the clients and prospects that you're talking to. Whereas pipeline management is really a full, exhaustive look at the sales process for your organization, for your individual reps, and it gives you better visibility as to not only what is going to be pending at the moment, but what will or should become pending in the future. And so it gives you a lot more ability to really kind of see where you're going versus where you are.
So I've heard other people refer to this as maybe the funnel pipeline, same thing.
Yes, just different words. The funnel is pretty simple. It looks like a funnel, right? It's wide at the top, narrows down. And within the funnel, there are elements, or as we would call them, deal stages in that funnel, right?
And don't tell us about deal stages yet.
I won't, I promise.
We're going to save that.
Okay. We'll not do that. And so the funnel and the pipeline are interchangeable, and it's really just the process. Where along the pipeline, where along the funnel is a prospect or a client in the sales process?
Yeah, a lot of benefits for doing that. What are I could think of it from a one benefit would just be you could tell where your bottlenecks are, right? You could tell where
Absolutely.
what's not getting pushed through the pipeline. I mean, it'd actually make a great visual if you could imagine a pipeline and then one area of it just kind of bulging and nothing can get through, right? It's a bottleneck. You got to fix it. But let's help out with the why. So what is the outcome, or why should a manager buy into this? What is the outcome or the result of the sales leader that a sales leader should expect if they have a good sales pipeline, if they're using this structure?
Yeah. So the first thing that you really want to get better at by using a pipeline is your accuracy in forecasting, right? Back in the day when you and I were managing the same stations, we had to have our report on Thursday morning. And almost every Thursday morning for years, it was a mad dash scramble where all the managers were freaking out, trying to get salespeople to give us good data so that we could make our forecast, right? And if you were wrong, like you got skewered. You were like, how did you not know? Well, I didn't know because I didn't have good data. The salespeople weren't giving me good data. So by using a sales pipeline, instead of just looking at pending, we should get a lot better at our forecasting. We'll be more accurate, right? The second thing is you want to improve sales performance. It seems like it's a big deal around here. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the name of the program, right? And so by using a pipeline, you're going to be able to improve the performance of the sales organization and the salespeople because you're going to have better visibility. You're going to know what's going to happen. To refer to what you just said about, you'll know where the bottlenecks are. You're going to know where there is a pothole, right? And how to avoid it, how to fix it. And so pipeline management, if you spend time on it, you're going to be better at that, which is going to improve your overall sales performance.
So forecast accuracy is probably the biggest reason why. Like, you do pipeline management correctly, you're going to increase your forecast accuracy. I get that, and I think we all know that that is important. But how does that help? Like, give us more on that. Like, how is having that forecast accuracy help you to make better decisions, grow and develop people? How do you use that besides being able to give a number up the line? How else can you use that?
Well, we had a manager long ago that said you can't manage what you can't measure, right? And sadly, most managers, if they are measuring things, they're probably not measuring the right thing. And if they are measuring it, and it might be the right thing, they're probably not getting a full picture and a good capture of that data. So it's going to be really hard to manage that, right? So by following pipeline management strategies, you're going to get better. You're going to be more accurate. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to start to really look at who's in the funnel or the pipeline. And the difference is going to be, you're going to be tracking your current clients and opportunities to upsell them or renew them, as well as new business prospects, right? And if you've watched this program or you are a client of CSS, you're familiar with our account list management strategy, which is all about making sure that the salespeople are focused on what we are calling high potential clients, prospects, right? And so on the client side, it's all about those key accounts, right? The big accounts, the ones that are generating the vast majority of our revenue. And then on the prospect side, we call those targets, and those targets have the ability of becoming a key account. So these are big accounts. These have big potential. This is where the majority of our dollars are being spent. So obviously we want to pay attention to them. We want to be focused on them. We want to make sure that we know exactly where they are in the process, so that as managers, when you're talking to your salespeople, you are actually able to focus on the big accounts, the high potential prospects, but also see where they're in the process so that you can help them move them along the pipeline, right? So in the early stages, I know you want to talk deal stages, so I won't talk about deal stages yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. I love to do that. Where in the process you can help them, right? Either they're helping them get an appointment, helping them come up with a solution, of helping them close them, whatever. But if you have a better idea of that, you're going to be more focused in the right areas with the right clients or prospects.
That makes sense to me. I think you have certainly experienced this. I've experienced this, where you're talking to a sales manager and they tell you that the problem that they're having right now is that the proposals going out the door just are not very good, and they need help developing better proposals. And the reason why that manager thinks that is because she or he saw a proposal that did not meet their standards and assumed that every proposal is now a problem, when really it could just be it was just that one proposal. And I think when someone has a good pipeline, not just of one seller in their organization, but a pipeline of a roll up, so that you can look at the entire sales operation. Let's say you have 5 salespeople, 10 salespeople, 50 salespeople, and you can look at that entire organization and you can see exactly where the bottlenecks are occurring. That gives you a lot better ability to drive performance, because you can jump in, and it's maybe not there. Maybe it's that people are not prospecting very well, and the quality of prospects are not moving to getting an appointment or moving to, doing a discovery meeting or wherever that bottleneck is. So I think that's important. And that leads me to what everyone is waiting for: deal stages.
Yes.
So I know you've been dying to talk about this. So
excited.
Part of pipeline management, obviously, is having deal stages. You've referenced it a few times, and I wanted us to wait because I wanted to present it all at one time and not just scatter. So walk us through deal stages, and what you recommend, what we share in the course, how it works.
Yeah. So the deal stages are, what are the steps in the sales process, right? It's not rocket science. You probably know what they are intuitively, but if you label them and you start to watch them, you start to see where salespeople are having problems, where there is a bottleneck, then you have the ability to help them. So if you think about the sales funnel, it starts wide and it narrows down, right? So at the top of the funnel, that's where your salespeople are identifying prospects, identifying key accounts for renewal. On the prospect side, they'll be starting to connect with them, get that appointment. On the client side, you still have to get the appointment, even though they know you and you're working with them. And those are the first two kind of steps in the process, but they don't count as a deal stage yet because we haven't gotten the meeting, right? Until you get the meeting, you can't really call it an opportunity, right? And that's what deal stages are all about, is the opportunities. And so really the first one we want to look at as far as deal stages is the discover step or phase. And discover it's your needs analysis, right? It's where you're having the meeting with the client or the prospect, you're finding out the situation, you're looking for the problems, you're looking for the desired business results so that you can then come back at some point and make that proposal to solve it, right? So the next stage in the deal stage is the advise section, the advise stage. And that's where you've done the needs analysis, you've done the discover meeting, you've come back and you are now working on a solution. You're looking for the solution path of where you're going to help these prospects or clients in that. So that's the second one. The third one, though, is the close stage, right? That's when you've gone back, you've made your solution-based proposal based on the problems that the prospect or the client is working on. And so you're going to have the close phase. And so you'll look at that. And so you have the identifying stage, you have the connecting stage, you have the discover phase, you have the advise phase, and you have the close phase. And so as you're monitoring all of that information with all of the clients, all of the prospects, you'll start to see where there is a problem. And if you know there's a problem, then there's an opportunity to help a sales rep or the sales organization fix it, right? But if you don't know where the problem is, it's really hard to fix it. When you get into the close section, that's where it splits off. And it splits off of, did you close the deal? Well, then that's a closed one. Yay! And there's a different path for that. Or did you not get the sale? It becomes a closed loss. And there's another path there to try and figure out what went wrong, kind of doing an autopsy on the pipeline, where the problems were. Did we not discover the right desired business results? Did we not talk about the right solution? Where was the problem, right? Were we not talking to the right decision maker? Was it not a good prospect to begin with? But those are the stages. So you've got discovery or discover, you've got advise, you've got close, and within close, you've got closed won and closed lost.
Yeah, so a couple of notes I took. The discover, advise, close, that's really smart. That makes sense. I do know in some businesses, there could be a demo that takes place after the advise, before the close,
Yep.
Where they want to see a demo of the product or the service. And if that's something that happens all the time, then that's part of the deal. So you'd want to add that, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you're depending on the business category of what your company and what your organization is doing, obviously you can tweak the deal stages to fit your sales pipeline. Ours is a general pipeline, right? Some people will use it as is. Others will adapt it and tailor it to their needs, like adding a demo. That's a really good point to remind everybody.
You know, the two things that you said were the benefit of using a pipeline were forecast accuracy and improved sales performance. I'm wondering if after you, and this kind of comes under the the improving sales performance. We talked a little bit about the discovery of bottlenecks and knowing where to provide help and assistance and sales enablement resources. I'm also wondering if over time, when you had enough data, if you could start to track the amount of time a opportunity should live in each deal section to know if it was going to move forward or die of old age.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of pipelines and pipeline management is the gathering of all the data, seeing when sales go into the pipeline, how long they last, the attrition rate of where an account goes from identified, they become connect, but then they never get a meeting. Okay. And then you have the ones that you do get a meeting. How many of those discover meetings turn into a proposal? How many never get the proposal? How many proposals do we present that we actually close and we win? What's our closing ratio? So you're able to gather all of this information at a macro level, which is for the organization. You can say, as a organization, our closing ratio is 28.5%. And we know that 75% go from a discover meeting to a proposal, right?
Well,
and you can start to do the math to figure out how many of each you need to end up at the bottom of the funnel where you're closing deals and how much you're closing, what the average sales is. And so you really do have a lot of ability and information to improve performance because I need to get 10 appointments to get 5 proposals to close 2 deals.
So to do this correctly, each person doesn't have their own version of a pipeline. Each office doesn't. Everyone, like all the offices, have to have the exact same deals.
Within the same company. Absolutely, they've all got to be the same.
Because if they don't,
it's total chaos. It's
right.
Anarchy. It's dogs and cats living together. Come on. Got to be on the same page.
But even take it down to the micro level, even on the same staff. So you have the rookie and the veteran, and as a manager, you're looking and saying, well, the rookie, they don't know what they're doing, so I'm going to give them more deal stages because I want to. And the veteran, they know what they're doing, so I'm going to give them no. You're saying doesn't matter.
All has to be the same. You can't have garbage in because you're going to get garbage out in the data. Right? So everybody has to play by the same rules. They have to have the same stages. They have to provide the same amount of information. And so that's why it's so important that you have a good CRM and that data is being inputted, that it's accurate, it's viable, so that you can really start to pull out organizational data. But what I love about it is that I'm going to be able to have specific sales pipeline numbers for Matt Sunshine. Hey, the organization has a 27.5% closing ratio, but Matt, yours is 38%. That's awesome, right? But what if your closing ratio was 12%?
Yeah, you're hitting on what I think is one of the most important things that sometimes sales leaders forget. And this is an improving sales performance livecast. This is about helping leaders, managers to become leaders. I think when organizations implement pipeline management strategies, I believe that they have good intentions. I believe that they're doing it because they do want to increase forecast accuracy and improve sales performance. But because they don't position it the right way, it ends up feeling like, to the salesperson, like micromanagement. Like, you just want to track all my business. You just want to make sure you just want to see everything.
You're trying to get me. You're trying to catch me.
Right. There's a trap door somewhere in this, and you're going to make me look bad for something.
Exactly.
So to the extent that you can share with people, your sales team, the data that is coming from the collective, from the group, that's, if I was a salesperson, I'd want that data.
They should.
If I was winning. And I'd also want to see, what percentage should be moving through the pipeline and what percentage should be closing. That's pretty good information.
It's great information. It also gives you a really good visibility for yourself that, if you have, in Q3, you need to make up $100,000 in new revenue, but your average sale is blank and your average closing ratio is this, and the number of proposals you get is this, and how many first-time meetings you have, you could quickly go, oh, I need 27 new meetings in the next 3 months to hit my budget. That gives me a goal. It gives me a plan. Okay, that means I need to have 2 a week, right? 2.5 a week, whatever that number is, so that I put together my same plan. Also, if I want to exceed that, maybe I need to start asking for a little bit more money. Maybe I've been a little too timid and I've asked for smaller amounts of investments. But if I'm able to increase that by $5,000 or $10,000 each time, all of a sudden, maybe I only need 5 of those.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to look at my resources, my time, how efficient I am, and I can use that information so that I can personally improve my sales performance, increase my sales, make more money, and honestly get everyone off my back because I'm hitting my numbers.
Well, yeah, and it's like we've talked about on this show before, and you and I have talked offline about this. It's the difference between being accidentally good and intentionally great. It's the difference between winging it and scrambling and having success from time to time, or having a system and a process that you can rely on and count on to drive the revenue performance. And that's what we're trying to do, right? Put a system, a process together to drive revenue performance.
It's a system, it's repeatable, it's consistent, it will make you better. Why wouldn't you want to do it?
Yeah. Trey, thank you so much. You were awesome as usual. Just incredible. So I can't thank you enough. If anyone watching this live or recorded wants to get a hold of Trey, you can do that by connecting with him on LinkedIn, and you can see his information is up there on the screen. Next week on the show, we will be focusing on performance tracking. Today was on pipeline management. Next week is on performance tracking. And I'm really excited because our special guest is going to be Matt Kiger, who is a regional vice president for Town Square Media and is just awesome guy and this is like right up his alley. So it's going to be a great show. Again, if you're Shay is putting the scroll on the bottom to remind me to tell everyone to like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. It really means a lot to us. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Awesome. Bye-bye.